So welcome back to the Smoke Pit. My name is Dan, and sorry to say, but we had to fire co-host Mike Sensi. He was just too drunk and unprofessional all the time, so we have a replacement here. Anne, why don't you take it away?
Hey, I'm Anne O'Neill. Nice to meet you guys.
So what are we talking about today, Anne?
We can talk about literally anything and everything you want. It's your show. I'm just Mike's replacement.
Yeah, we're just kidding about that. He's overseas on a work trip right now, and so we have a fierce demand for content. You savages want us to do 2 episodes a week, but we don't have the mental energy or the jokes to be able to put out that much content. So Anne is a friend of ours. She's kind enough to step in. Will you tell us a little bit about your background?
So I live in Hampton Roads along with you and Mike. And been here most of my life. Grew up in a military family, which is pretty common in this area. And I'm a law enforcement officer in the area.
Fantastic. What has been the most surprising thing about law enforcement?
It is literally tickets to the greatest show on earth.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, there's so many times where I'm sitting there and I'm just looking at my coworkers and I'm just thinking, is this real life? Is this actually happening right now?
Is this the real life or is it fantasy? All right, that's enough of that. I think I broke some some window pane somewhere. Off key and off pitch. I am a man of many talents.
You know, a gentleman and a scholar.
So, without giving too much away, just for OPSEC reasons, she works in probably the most colorful part of this area. We have 7 cities that kind of encompass an hour driving radius or so, and I would probably say my least favorite area is where she works.
We can call it Detroit.
Okay. Yeah, I almost got carjacked there. Like, I was literally sitting at a stop sign. I take this gal out to breakfast, and she's a bit of a ditz, and so she stops at the stop sign, and she's, you're looking at Pinterest or something dumb, and this car with, like, these big hoopty rims comes screaming out in front of us, blocks the intersection, 2 guys get out, and so, I hit the automatic button on the windows, I hang my Glock out the window, and they get back in their car and drive away. And I was like, drive? She's like, what do you mean? Like, we almost got carjacked, like, drive. Like, well, what do you, just don't ask any questions. Just drive. Like, pedal the metal. Well, you don't have to be mean and yell at me. Like, we almost died. Like, drive, woman.
I remember you telling me that story the first night we met.
Yeah.
And
I don't have many stories.
The area,
don't call me out.
the area that you described that happening in is actually like a nicer part of town. That's like the sad thing about it. But definitely a very Detroit city.
Okay.
Very Detroit story.
So there are a lot of similarities between the military and law enforcement. There's if you had a Venn diagram, there would be a lot in the middle. What do you think are some things that are unique to the LEO, or the law enforcement officer? For those who don't know the acronym, what do you think there are a few things that are specifically unique to that you may not necessarily see in the military?
I would probably say, as someone who's never served in the military before, something that's unique to law enforcement is a certain level of empathy that you have to have for people, or at least express to people, regardless of whether or not you identify with their lifestyle.
Okay.
So oftentimes we find ourselves, comforting, family members who just lost somebody who may have been not that great of a person. They may have been a drug dealer or, previous history of violent crimes. You still have to show a level of empathy, even though, let's face it, it's a bad guy.
They might have deserved it,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like he might have been robbing a store. He might have been on drugs. He might be the type to clap when the plane lands. Just terrible people. It's okay to laugh at my jokes. I'm kidding.
Let's be honest. We know that you're funny.
Yeah. Once that one came out, I was just like, man, Dan, like I really expect more of you. So I was disappointed in myself in that joke, but I'll do better.
That's all you can ever ask for. I mean, when you're working in law enforcement, humor is such an important and integral like part of what we do, because that's how you decompress. You see a lot of traumatic stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, oftentimes, it ends up being a punchline or a joke of sorts.
Oh, yeah. And I think that's kind of unique to the law enforcement perspective, where in the military, you have guys may go on 1 or 2 deployments and, they're overseas for 7 or 9 months. But, in the law enforcement, you wake up, 5-6 days a week, if not more. If you work overtime and such, and you put on the uniform, you put on the body armor, you put on the duty belt, and you go out and you do things and you see things. As where like the military, you might have some guy who gets rocketed or one IED attack, and their entire deployment they milk it for the rest of their life. Where you have law enforcement who might experience dozens, if not hundreds, of shitty situations over the course of a 20-year career.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is something that I've definitely made into my career. Like, this is what I want to do for, the next 25 years until I'm able to retire. So just in the 5 years that I've been in law enforcement, I've seen so many different things, funny things, sad things, interesting things. I've learned so much in that span of time. It's just kind of mind-boggling.
So, say you were on a podcast with a cute guy and you wanted to impress him with a funny story. What would be your go-to?
Oh man, there's so many. I would probably say, okay, so I've got this like really cute guy sitting next to me, which BT dubs, between the fuck, marry, kill that you guys do every week, 10 out of 10 would marry.
You're too kind.
I'm
blushing. I'm glad you guys can't see me.
The story that I would probably go to actually is a pretty recent one, so it's very like fresh in my memory. Get dispatched to a 911 hang up. So there's different nature codes that dispatchers will send you to, and it's just like a kind of catch-all category. If someone picks up the phone, they call 911. They don't really know what's going on. They can't get much out of the person who's calling. They send you to it as a 911 hang up.
Yeah, our executive producer, Mike, EP Mike, he had something like that recently. He put the belt too tight around his neck when he was autoerotic asphyxiation, and he called 911, but then the buckle broke, and he was able to breathe again. He's like, oh, no, we're good. So you can imagine my embarrassment when I thought it was going to be Jimmy John's at the door, and it was paramedics, law enforcement, and I got, EP Mike still upside down in his gravity boots. Massive dong hanging out, and it was just a very embarrassing situation.
Massive?
Yeah.
Is that your opinion or everyone's opinion?
I think the Hubble telescope verified it.
Wait.
They're like, oh, we could see the Great Wall of China. Oh my God, no, that's just EP Mike.
Oh, fair enough.
Yep.
So I go to this 911 hang up.
I would just like to say, like, I can read in her eyes that her answers for the fuck, marry, kill just changed. All right, you guys can't see it. See, now she's blushing. Yeah.
Great red. Thank God there's no video or cameras at all today.
Yeah, but you're kind of fair skinned, so I think 3 ultraviolet beams, and you'd probably have a sunburn anyways.
Oh, for sure. Definitely. I'm beyond the pale. I spent most of my career so far on midnights, so.
But not as pale as co-host Mike.
This is true.
Yeah,
but
he's a solid ivory.
Yeah, I'm definitely a night walker, though, for sure. So we go to this 911 hang up, and there's this lady, and she's in front of this little corner store, mini mart in the city, and she's got a cut on above her brow, and her face is swollen, and I'm like, what happened? So she goes through this story, and she tells me that she goes to this house that's a known trap house.
And for our listeners, can you explain what a trap house is?
So a trap house is basically it's a shell of a house. People don't really live there. They just buy drugs or do drugs in the house.
Okay, because I thought it was a place with really good music. So when I accepted an invitation to a trap house for later this evening, I feel like I've been bamboozled.
Just make sure you do lots of crack.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the key?
Yes, that is the key, and you will enjoy your time in the trap house for sure.
Yeah, or the county lockup. Wouldn't that be embarrassing though? You get dispatched to a call and it's me just zooted out. Really, Dan? Really?
I mean, but with those baby blues, at least you'd have a decent mugshot.
Yeah, unless you pepper sprayed me.
I mean, I reserve that for special people. Because trust me, as being as fair-skinned as I am, that stuff's just as spicy for me, and you
Ooh.
always end up getting it on you when you're spraying somebody. It's not a good time.
Title of my sex tape.
Gift that keeps on giving. Another title for your sex tape.
Oh, Lord.
So, talking to this woman, and she says that she went to this trap house to buy crack. And she
freely admitted that.
Yes.
She didn't say bubble gum or hot dogs.
No. She definitely said, I went to go to this house to buy crack, and I don't know the drug dealers who sell from the house, so I use this middleman who does buy from this house.
Okay.
So this middleman brings her the drugs. It was like $10 crack rock. So
is that a lot or a little?
So if you think about it, a gram is probably worth about $100 street value.
Okay.
So it's a tenth of a gram.
And so is that like enough to get like an average person fucked up, or is it like $10 crack rock, and is that like not enough to get a crackhead fucked up, but enough to like, blow my mind?
It's enough to make you want to break into a house and steal its copper.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That seems like for $10.
Yes, $10.
Gosh, you go to the local bar and buy a cocktail for $10, and all that does is make you have to pee.
Yeah, lots of bang for your buck. Also, lots of missing teeth. You're gonna start losing teeth.
There it is.
Yeah.
I was about to say, like, you kind of making this appealing.
There's kind of a hang up to doing crack. And
I'm sure there are several.
Filled with poor life choices.
Like admitting you went to a trap house to buy crack to a police officer.
Probably not the first time in her life she said that.
Probably not the last either.
But the best part about this story is not the fact that she's telling me that she went to go buy crack, because, when you arrest people, you interview them and you talk to them and you try to develop a dialogue, figure out, why they do what they do, things like that, just so you can be a better police officer.
Okay.
Especially as far as investigations go.
Yeah, like learning like street lingo and like who the players are and
yes.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Absolutely. So talking with this woman, she tells me that she confronted the dealer because she said that the crack that he gave her was fake. And
fake crack.
And
who would fake a $10 crack rock? Like, that just seems like more effort than it's worth.
Especially with like all the torn off baggies. Like, I can tell you right now, the whole process of making crack, cooking it, packaging, distributing, weighing it out, all of the different components used in distribution of crack, like, it's so not worth the money. I don't even understand why.
Yeah, and then if you piss your customer off, like, you literally have a crackhead who's gonna come break into your home, like,
and steal your copper.
Which we don't have a lot of copper in here, so
yeah. So
past the diamonds and the electronics, went straight for the copper.
Well, I mean, copper's probably worth more than a TV. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's fair. We get about 3 to 5 cents a pound for regular scrap metal, like with appliances and stuff, at the place here, and you get a little bit more than that for copper. So I mean, depending on the volume that you take, like, you might be able to buy several crack rocks with that.
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely. And I think that this lady is all about. She's on that train. She definitely wants to buy all of the crack.
Not just some of it. All of the crack.
All of the crack.
Dave Chappelle level crack.
Yes.
Just wants one giant volleyball-sized crack rock.
Yes, absolutely. I think she would probably die of happiness if she saw
before she even
volleyball.
smoked it.
Yeah, she would just, collapse and just complete euphoria at seeing a volleyball size.
So I think that's what we do. We solve the drug problem. We get a lot of whiteout, paint a volleyball so it looks like a crack rock, which I'm assuming that's what it was. I've never seen one. And is there a statute limitation on things that you can admit, or no? We'll just skip by that. Ignore me. And so so you show this volleyball, pants look like a crack rock to crackhead. They drop dead. You're like, boom, one less crackhead. Moving on.
I mean, just the thing is when one is gone, 10 more come in its place.
Oh wow, it sounds like a zombie apocalypse.
Pretty much. Detroit is very much so a city of zombies.
So,
The Walking Dead.
So she admits that she wasn't happy with the quality of the product that she purchased.
Yes. So I am sitting there talking to her that, hey, we don't know the person who assaulted her. She provided his street name, his alias.
Yeah, which I'm sure you can't say.
Right. But
so can we refer to him as EP Mike?
We can refer to him as EP Mike.
All right, so EP Mike sold her very bad crack cocaine.
So EP Mike sells her like fake crack.
Okay. So
She
not bad,
gets
like low quality, just like
fake.
impostination. No, that's
Yes.
not a word.
It can be today. We're talking about crackheads. Like, we
Yeah,
can
I'm not the
totally
subject
make
matter expert.
impersonation a word. So
Impersonation and imposter. I try to combine those two. I do it once an episode if you haven't been listening, so fuck off.
just deal with it. So she buys this fake crack and she realizes it's fake. And the best part about this entire encounter, she didn't want me to take a report for the assault. You know, of course, I call medics to assess her medically, make sure that she's okay. She denies any sort of medical attention. And
What you do is kind of like, cover your bases, you know?
yeah, absolutely. Because the last thing you want is to like have someone who's been assaulted and then they say that you didn't do anything to help them, you know, with their injuries.
And you get so many calls that I think it's unfair that like when you have to go to trial that, you know, like they'll pull you guys up on the stand and be like, you know, on this day at, you know, 0:30, you know, 4 months ago, did you or did you not do this? And you're like, may I please refer to my report? Because like I don't remember shit. It all bleeds together. At least that's the way it was for like when we were doing detaining ops in Iraq. Like I didn't remember shit. All the days blur together. So I'm like, look, if it's in the report, it's in the report. If it's not, it's not. Like, what do you want from me?
Yeah, and that's how it normally goes when stuff goes to trial. You refer to your notes, you watch your body camera footage, which, you know,
Would be a lot of me dancing in the mirror if I was a cop.
I was kind of dreading coming on this podcast because I sit there and I watch my body camera footage and I hear my voice and I just cringe at my own voice.
Oh well, we'll
So
take
I'm sorry for talking.
we'll have EP Mike change your voice to like a Samuel L. Jackson-esque kind of like.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
And so if you could just say motherfucker like more frequently, so it would be more natural.
Oh, hold my beer.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Hold my beer, motherfucker.
There it is. So she denies medical attention.
She denies medical
I'm sorry, I keep
attention.
interrupting your conversation by being charming and hilarious, but please continue.
I mean, you're the reason why women want to marry you.
Oof,
Like,
oof.
I can't blame them, and I can't hold you back from being the Dan that you are.
You know, I'm a peacock. You gotta let me fly.
Yep. Which they don't really fly.
Hey, the one that attacked me in Spain flew just fine. Okay, I don't know if it was more of a controlled glide in its crane kick that it delivered upon me, but it seemed like it was flying.
If any listeners have video footage of that,
You
please
better
DM
fucking
me.
keep it to yourself if you know what's good for you. The WikiLeaks thing out there. But no, that son of a bitch just got arrested. Fuck him.
Yeah,
He probably has the footage.
had it coming. Yeah, definitely.
More ways than one.
So this woman declines any sort of medical attention, and I'm explaining to her, like, you know, look, the only thing I can do is take a report if you find out this person's real name, like their government name, as they call it,
Yeah.
on the streets. You know, you can call records and update the report, and you can take out a warrant for assault. Because what happened was when she confronted the drug dealer, he
EP
proceeded
Mike?
to EP Mike proceeded to beat her ass. Like, fuck you, EP Mike. How are you gonna sit there and beat this lady's ass after selling her fake drugs?
After selling her fake crack.
So the cherry on top. Well, there's actually two cherry on tops on
Just
this
the way I
sundae.
like it.